Hey yo, what's up, all you One Piece fans out there? If you're pissed off about the spoiler you are currently seeing on the screen, get over it. This was so obvious that you have no excuse not to have seen this coming. Now, getting to the chapter proper, this freaking cover page of Crocodile lying back as birds just splash around in his sand is weird. I'm sorry, it's weird. It's friggin' weird. It's cool to see freaking Crocodile again, but that's just weird. Alright, so actual chapter, we see the great, manhunter, as it were, being slain by Zoro. Don't know if the dude's dead or not, but it kind of feels that way. Kamazo. So he's down, everybody's shocked. Zoro, unfortunately, ends up passing out from having a goddamn sickle stabbed through his friggin' shoulder. Because it's just like, no, you don't have that happen and not pass out from the blood loss or go into some kind of shock. And Yukimaru just kind of gives a smile and just walks off. So he's just like, okay, we're done here. So it's just like, okay. I don't know if Yukimaru is like, thinks higher of Zoro from this or what, but it's just like, he just walks off and he's just done with the dude. So then we cut off to where the minks are talking with Kinemon, specifically Inuarashi, who's just like, yo, we've been outed, someone figured out what our pamphlets mean, we're in deep shit. Stuff we already knew, basically, but now our allies know that the secret's out and they have to do something about this. They basically have to figure out where they're going to go from here on out. And we see, all of the capital's, law enforcement and as well as Kaido's forces just rounding up everyone who has the crescent moon mark on their ankles. We have some little bit of ribbing from Hawkins to X-Drake about the situation in the bathhouse, but, they're just basically just going around rounding up people, and that's about the end of it. Meanwhile, in terms of what the owner of the brothel basically has going on, who slew Komurasaki, he's having a bit of a moment where he's just like, he's basically being told not to kind of have Komurasaki's wake for the most part, mostly because so many people are kind of still a little bit distraught about the whole situation in terms of him slaying Komurasaki, and how even more than likely Orochi's still taking it pretty hard. So his situation hasn't improved, but he has this kind of wry smile about him. He doesn't seem actually solidly distraught about the situation. He has this kind of knowing smile, like he knows that he's in the clear for something. We just don't know what, because it's just like, how much does he letting on? How much does he truly know? Kyoshiro just seems to be a little too chill about this whole situation, and it just really just continues to raise the question, because it's obvious he let Komurasaki go. It's obvious he had to have known that she is Hiyori. There's no way he's not involved with any of this, but to what extent? Who is Kyoshiro? That's the biggest question going on here. Who the fuck is this guy? And what's his deal? What's his end goal in all of this? And to just put himself under this situation. We then cut to, we cut to all over this place. And, it's the benefit and downside of having all the Straw Hats straight up in Wano, because it's just, there's so many people to keep up with. you know? And now we're cutting over to where Frankie, Nami, Robin, Sanji, Law, um, Kanjiro, Shinobu, all are. It's just like, you know, and Usopp as well. Usopp should be there too. So they're all there, and Sanji basically had the shit slapped out of him by Nami because of the stunt he pulled. But the real crux of this situation is the fact that Shinobu is fucking pissed. Like, just fucking fuming over the situation because she's under the belief that Beppo, Sachi, and Penguin blabbed the secret. And Law is very adamant and growing slightly more and more pissed with everything that she says as time goes on, because he's just like, no, my boys would never pull that shit. They blood. You know, they're stronger than that. They're better than that. They would never. But Shinobu's on some hard edge shit, and it's stuff that I never would have expected from her character, because she's even suggesting possibly executing them because of what they've done. And this just pisses Law off to an even greater degree. But Shinobu is basically having an emotional breakdown because, as she states, this is something that's been building for 20 years. She's lived those 20 years, gone through the fall of the Kazuki clan, the fall of her friends, the loss of a lot of people she trusted and loved, the betrayal of the Oniwaban who she was a part of previously. So Shinobu has been through some shit. Despite the silliness of her character, she's been through the shit. And she's adamantly, vehemently angry about this, because it's just like, we're losing out on a chance. We're missing this because your people might have blab. And Kanjiro has to basically be like, yo, calm your shit. Just back the fuck down. Listen, I understand your frustration. I get it. Believe me. But without these people, without any of these people, none of this would have even been possible. You know, you feel me? If it wasn't for Law, his people, the Straw Hats, bringing the Minks, everything that he's been involved with, we wouldn't have even gotten this far. So I understand your frustration, but you need to calm your ass down. And then, like, out of nowhere, Tokoyasu, the taiko drummer, comes in on some like friendly shit. And it's just like, man, you guys are being a little loud. Keep it chill, you know? You don't have to be so violent in the way you speak. Pleasant voices here. And a lot of them are like, who the fuck is this guy? And Tokoyasu goes around, he's just like, oh, Nami, you're such a goddess, such beauty, such wonder, so glorious. And then he talks to Shinobu with a lot of familiarity, like, oh, is that my dear Shinobu? And it's just like, wait, what? And then he's, addresses Kanjiro like he's familiar with him, and it takes Kanjiro off guard as well. And then he pulls up the leaflet that's just like, it's really going down, man. This is the shit I've been waiting for. Where's the final battle at, my friends? And it's just like, who the hell is Tokoyasu now? Because it's just like, whoa. I thought he would be an inconsequential, little fun part of this whole situation. But maybe there's more to it. Maybe that's why Zoro was actually being very, Zoro can be very dismissive to a lot of people, but with Tokoyasu, it's almost seemed like he, kind of gelled with him to a certain degree, and maybe that's why. Maybe it's because there's more to Tokoyasu than anyone honestly even remotely assumed to any specific degree. And then finally we cut back to Ringo, where in the northern graveyards, where we see that Zoro has been treated and bandaged up by Komurasaki, who, like, once she's got the garb and all that stuff off, it's so obvious it's Komurasaki that it's just like, no, she has the same look, her appearance is, like, Oda draws characters similarly, but not to this degree. So it's Komurosaki, and Zoro is still just concerned about getting his sword back. He's just like, no, I want my sword back from Gyukumaro of Mount Bandit's Bridge. But Komorosaki's like, no, your wounds are too deep. We're trying to heal you up. We got you this wonderful item from the capital called Toad Oil. Maybe you've heard of it. This one long-nosed seller has been going around town selling this shit. And it's just like, oh, god damn it, he's not gonna heal for shit. But, we have Toko introduce herself, basically giving her usual spiel of how if you, add an O to my name, it sounds like man, it's pretty funny, but Zoro's just like not having it. He's the straightest of straight men, in a lot of ways. But then we get a little bit of backstory into the fact that nobody really knows who the hell Gyukumaro is. Just that he takes weapons from people he comes across when they try to go over Bandit's Bridge, very much like, Benkei, the Japanese character who he's based off, who collected 990, it was 99 swords or weaponry all across Japan until he was defeated when he tried to take his 100th one. And Zoro goes into asking Komurosaki, it's just like, okay, why were you being tracked down by that Grim Reaper looking like dude? And it's explained that, Toko was being chased down and all that good stuff. And, Komurosaki has been trying to save her. So they were running away from the situation for the most part. But, Komurosaki has basically out and out says it's just like, you don't seem like a bad person, and I want to tell you something, and I hope you keep it a secret. Which I'm just like, girl, you don't know who the fuck this dude is. Why would you say any of this crap to him? Where she's just like, oh, I'm looking for my brother, we were separated 20 years ago, I think he might be in Wano currently, his name is Kazuki Momozuki, and I'm his sister Hiyori. And Zoro naturally reacts because he's just like, oh, okay, he would know what's up at this point. But it's just like, yo, Hiyori, you are either an immensely great judge of character, or you are naive as all fuck. Because if you've pulled off everything you've managed to survive this long, you must be smart to at least some degree. You have to have some intelligence behind you. So I have to assume it's because she has great intuition. I have to assume that's why. And it's just like, it almost feels too simple at the same time, because it's just like, bam, there's Hiyori. But at the same time, I feel like Oda knew he was being obvious about it, so he's just like, okay, let me just put it right out there. Let me just settle this before we move on. It's just like, this is Komurosaki, this is Hiyori. There you go. We good? I'm on break. So it's just like, it raises so many questions, but at the same time, it's a fun moment. It's very fun, very interesting. But just what's gonna happen now, honestly, because now you have Zoro with Hiyori and Otoko, and the fact that Toko's being chased by assassins. Is Zoro gonna continue to try to get his sword back? Is the Gyukumaro guy gonna go the path of his namesake and end up joining with Zoro after he defeats him? Is Zoro even really gonna be healed? Because yet again, Oda's on that thing of always handicapping Zoro in some way, shape, or form through injury or something. So now Zoro's power has been cut because of his injuries, and it's just like, yep, once again we don't get to see Zoro at full power. But at the same time, it was a pretty intense moment. I can't fault that. You know, it was badass. I just felt my balls drop right when I saw that scene of him taking down Kamizo, so I can't even be mad at it. But hey, tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. What was the most interesting of the many different scenes in this? Were you more interested in the situation with, you know, Zoro and Lady Hiyori? Were you more interested in the situation with Shinobu and Law and the intensity there? Were you more interested in the fact that the taiko drummer dude, Tonoyasu, apparently has some history with Kanjuro and Shinobu? Were you more interested in the whole situation going with Kyoshiro and the fact that it's obvious he has some hand to play in having Hiyori and protecting her, or something along those lines? Because, you know, what's up with this dude? There's some greater secret going on there. Maybe it's a situation very similar to a certain degree with what we saw in the if anyone's familiar with the One Piece event that went on, where, you know, there was this kind of fillery Wano story that was kind of this interactive story where you went across various prefectures of Japan and you went exploring place to place and all that good stuff. Maybe Kyoshiro, you know, is in a very romantic relationship with Hiyori and all that good stuff. So, you know, it raises a lot of questions. Just a lot of questions. Like, my god. But on break next week, you got plenty of time to speculate. Tell me your thoughts in the comments section below if you get around to that video in the meantime. And hey, if you like this video, feel free to leave me a like, and if you didn't, feel free to leave me a dislike and tell me what I did wrong in the comments section below. You know, helps me improve, you know, knowing where I might have gone wrong. And hey, how about subscribing? Because as obvious, there will definitely be more chapter reviews of One Piece. But until then, keep your secrets close.